Good morning, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. Today we are going to make a brunch, breakfast, or even a dinner item. Something that my family has enjoyed. I make a lot of times for Easter and it goes over well at church. I am making a bacon Swiss asparagus crustless quiche or egg bake, whatever you want to call it. But once you get everything prepped, it's really quick to put together. And if you have some extra asparagus and you have some cooked bacon, it comes together really fast. And I have used different cheeses. If I don't have Swiss cheese in the house, well, then I'll use mozzarella or Monterey Jack. You can play with it and use what you have. Okay, got you down here. The original recipe calls for 5 eggs and 5 egg whites. I've never done that because I don't usually have egg whites in the house and I don't want to waste 5 yolks. So I am going to put 7 eggs in here. And I've never had an egg bad from our chickens when I go to open them up, but this would be the time it would happen. So I'll put them in this bowl and then dump them in here. This recipe calls for onion and you're supposed to saute it up. I'm just going to use some freeze-dried onion from Thrive Life. Ooh, let's put that one in. You can tell I don't commonly do this, but I know it is the best practice. And if I don't do it one of these days, I am going to regret it. Oop, got eggshell that time. Okay, let's put all the shells in the bowl and set that aside. I love egg casseroles, egg bakes. Here, let's beat these eggs up. Get them so they're all combined. And I'm supposed to have some milk. Forgot to get out the milk. I have my oven preheated on 350. Calls for 1 cup of milk. Okay, I'm going to put in, get out my tablespoon. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of Thrive Life chopped onions. I really like my Thrive Life products. I keep some down, in my pantry for whenever we would need them, but they're also part of my working pantry. There's those in. It calls for a tablespoon of dried dill. I am going to use, this is a local company. She does have a website, and this is her big dill seasoning, and it has dill and sea salt and minced garlic and minced onion, chives, and black pepper. So I think that will give it extra zip, not just the dill. So 1 tablespoon of that. Calls for 2 cloves of garlic. And you can use fresh, but if you don't have fresh, use your powder. I guess my mom always taught me that, if you're missing like 1 ingredient like that, that doesn't mean you can't, make your recipe. In fact, most of the things she taught me, there was no set recipe. Also calls for half a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to put a little less than that. Half a teaspoon of salt. You know, I think that seasoning might have been a teaspoon I was supposed to put. Well, we're going to have extra seasoning. So oh boy, it's okay. It's really good. It'll give a good flavor. And it's a blend. It's not just a tablespoon of dill. You know, if you have fresh dill growing, you could chop up that and add it too. Calls for six strips of bacon that are cooked and crumbled in. So you want it to be crisp bacon. You add 2 tablespoons of flour. That's where I got the tablespoons from. And this gets a little lumpy-ish, so you just got to keep working it. And I've done it without the flour to make it more keto friendly. The flour makes it puff up more and gives it a real nice consistency when it bakes, but it is not necessary. I have found it's real good without it. This makes a really nice Sunday brunch, a lovely dinner. You know, if you have a few pieces of asparagus left, because it just calls for a small bunch. Well, my phone stopped recording. I added the cheese and the bacon. So now I have my oven on preheating. You can see the cheese in there. It's 5 ounces. I had sliced Swiss cheese, and I just slivered it up and chopped it in half so that it's smaller pieces in there. All the good stuff out. So now spray this pan. And we're going to pour this in. And if you don't have Swiss cheese, you can use any other kind of cheese. Like a white cheese is probably good in this. I've used Monterey Jack. Well, Monterey, yeah. And I've used mozzarella. I've used provolone. So now I have these shorter stalks of asparagus. And I might need to snap some of the ends off, but we're going to go around the outside edge. And lay these on top. One more here. Snap some of that off. Let's redo that one. There. It is ready to go into the oven. And I will check it after 30 minutes. And I'm going to clean up my... Here it is, just out of the oven. The center is set. That's what you're going for. You don't want any liquid in there. I'm going to let this rest, and then I will slice a piece and serve it up. Okay, as you can see it has deflated some. Well, here, cut it in half that way. And this is really nice served with some fruit, maybe some blueberry muffins or something. First one's always the challenge to get out, isn't it? There you can see it. It is fluffy. There it is. Remember, I put in an extra dill seasoning. It wasn't just dill, though. There's pockets of cheese. The seasoning is spot on, actually. And I think because I used a blend, it wasn't just pure dill. The Swiss cheese flavor and the bacon flavor is throughout it. Sometimes I will add a little bit of cowboy candy on top when I go to serve it because I love cowboy candy. This is a wonderful spring brunch, breakfast, dinner, brinner, whatever you want to call it. And it's good for just your family, or if you could serve this to company. So I hope you enjoy. See you next time at Pike Creek Farm.